I mean, the president laid out a very specific, comprehensive plan. I think what the president did actually is very interesting. This is my surmise, but I think this is fair to say. What the president did is he said to himself, what do I think America should look like in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years? And then he worked back from that. And he came up with specific proposals, very specific, comprehensive proposals about what it would take to make America that way, to make America develop. I mean, his campaign theme was forward. And I think he's given thought to what forward should look like, what the future should actually be. And I found that very encouraging.
Anything that you wanted to see in the speech that was not addressed tonight?
I would have liked to seen, a bigger vision on rebuilding our infrastructure and putting people back to work with direct federal investment. I can find a way to do that without creating more deficit. He talked about doing a deficit-neutral way. I'm trying to get the attention of the White House on that issue. So it's an opening that I will try and run through.
You are one of the new freshman members, and this was your first State of the Union address. What are your thoughts on the entire experience?
Again, every time I step on the House floor, it's an honor. So, this is part of our history. It's part of our heritage. I think the president hit a home run tonight. He started with rebuilding jobs in the economy and really emphasized the importance of rebuilding a middle class and giving opportunity back to the middle class. We've been talking about that for a long time. I was glad to hear the president talk about it, and that is exactly what we need to do.
You've been here for a short while, but you've already seen that things that can be pretty dysfunctional. Was there anything from tonight that you think could actually be achieved, considering the partisan strife we have right now?
You know what? We should be able to achieve rebuilding America, putting people to work, giving them a paycheck, not an unemployment check. We should get towards rebuilding a healthcare system that's about taking care of patients, not about taking the profits.
He did talk about paying for it, and in fact, he did talk about taking away the corporate tax loopholes. And he talked about proposals that there had been in the past in which there was agreement. So yes, he was talking about proposals for which there was some agreement that something had to be done. And he reminded us of that. I actually appreciated that he was so strong on comprehensive immigration reform and gun violence prevention. I was very much hoping that he would address both issues, and he did.
But I also think that the president talked about values. He talked about how he valued education. He didn't use the term, but he valued education, and he talked about how we want to train and retrain people to make sure that they can take advantage of the jobs that are available right now. He also talked about how he values the whole notion of people getting a decent day's pay for a decent day's work. Every person working full-time in the richest country in the world ought to live above the poverty line. He talked about how we ought to value our allies and said we're going to stand with our ally, Israel. He talked about bringing our troops home and how he values their having the best equipment that's out there. But when they get home, we want to value them to the extent that they'll get a good job. These are the kinds of things that will make a nation great.
Congressman Stockman brought Ted Nugent. Was there any rock stars that you considered for tonight?
Well, unfortunately, John Lennon couldn't make it tonight.